welcome to It's Possible, the podcast where we celebrate the human spirit and explore the incredible stories of individuals who triumphed over obstacles. In each episode, we'll bring you stories from a wide range of fields and experiences, from business leaders who turned setbacks into opportunities, to everyday heroes who conquered personal obstacles. We're here to remind you that it is possible.
And welcome to another session of It's Possible. And today we've got Zo. He's a very good friend of mine, and he's got a very interesting story to tell. And so we'll go ahead and jump into it. And Zo, if you welcome, and if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, that'd be awesome.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me, Kev. Myself, I personally, I have a W-2, so I'm still in my W-2. I am trying to divorce my W-2, so that's kind of where I'm at. Really close with what I've done last year, catering and connecting with certain people and getting, the opportunity to do the things that I'm doing. So hopefully by the end of this year, we can have another conversation. I'll be divorced and single and ready to mingle. But my job is, like we discussed earlier, I've been doing it pretty much all my life. I'm a VP of sales for a medical supply company, a national company. I've been in medical sales for about 26 years. At this capacity, probably 23 of those.
Okay.
It's a good gig. I can't say it's not. Able to see the world a little bit in my travels as we grew this thing nationally. It's just I'm at a point now where I'm on the back nine of my life, and
Right.
I still have energy, and I see the writings on the wall that we discussed earlier when it comes to my industry, the changes with regulation, whether it be federal, state. The big boys that are coming into play, which are a lot stronger and bigger than us middlemen or little guys when it comes to what we do. Like, for instance, really quick, we buy a product from a manufacturer for a couple pennies, or actually no, I buy them for $2. They land them on here on ground for from wherever, China or wherever, for pennies on the dollar, right?
Right.
So I get it for $2. I'm selling it to the insurance for $4. I'm making a good clip, making 100%. We're good to go.
Right.
But now these guys are going straight in and going straight to the insurance companies and offering, $1.50, direct. So It's hard to compete because I buy it for $2. So I see that happening. I see urologists who write the prescriptions for us to service these individuals, starting to put together their own like urological associations or urologist associations.
Yeah.
And they're keeping everything in house, and they're doing their own fulfillment. So it's like, I see all that. I'm like, bro, it's good. Like, I think it's time for me to be like, moving and thinking about the future. And again, I think timing is the biggest thing, in relationships and, us getting together or just in anything, an opportunity or a job. And the way Pace came to me, by chance, to be honest with you. The community by chance when I entered, again by chance. It wasn't scripted. Trust me, it wasn't scripted.
Right.
I was trying to find an exit. It was hard, just because of my demand, of my tenure and my history. To go, how it is. I'm an old fogey. If I go and say, hey, you know what, I'm worth this, they're gonna be like, yeah, I know you are, but I can get someone cheaper. Yeah. So it is what it is. So I understand that.
Now, when you said by chance, with a Pace Morby, what do you mean by that?
Well, I'll tell you this. So a year ago,
Uh-huh.
almost like around right now, everyone's telling us the recession's coming, the world's going to end, unemployment's going to be double digit, all that stuff, right? Just the whole thing. So I'm like, okay, so what can I do in what I'm doing at that moment, to try to scale and not lose myself or lose others that I work with, right? So I'm like, okay, so what is out there that I can get so that I can maybe use that to buffer this, whatever they're going to call it, kind of just go through this rocky season.
Yeah.
So I went online and I looked for, marketing, sales marketing, all that good stuff. And my boy Grant Cardone came up. So I'm like, all right, Grant Cardone. So I'll give him a shot.
Yeah.
I bought his sales funnel marketing thing. It doesn't work. So, If anybody's hearing, don't buy it. It doesn't work. So I tried it, to see if, what it would do, and it didn't work. So I'm okay. I tried.
Yeah.
I guess in the algorithms in my search history, I don't know what it was. It just kept leading me to all these pace videos.
Yeah.
Pace Morby, Pace Morby, Pace Morby. I'm like, who the hell is this dude? Like, I
Yeah.
know, we all know Grant. We know
Right.
Jerry, right? I even knew Ryan Pineda more than I did Pace, because he'd pop up a little bit, right? But I've
Right.
never heard of this guy Pace. Like, who is this guy Pace? So again, by chance. So I just started watching his videos as they pop up, and then just hearing him talk to us common folk and his energy and how he speaks to us, and it's legit, bro. Like, I've seen him probably 4 different times at meetups, and had in some of those meetups I've had actually some pretty good one-on-one time with him.
Yeah.
He is sincerely what you see is what you get. He is all about community and people, and it's no fluff. It's no like, hey, this is for the show. No, he's all about that.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it resonated well with me, because I'm the same way. I'm all about helping as many people as possible, their family or friends.
Right.
So again, I'm watching these videos late at night. My wife's like, "What the hell are you watching?" I'm like, our future. Relax, like real quick. This is going right.
Yeah.
And then you start man crushing on the guy. I'm not gonna lie, start watching the videos and all that stuff, and then just seeing what's gonna happen when people are talking about the professionals, right? The pundits, and saying, "Hey, look at, it's gonna happen 08 all over again." So I'm like, okay. I've always had fascination. People have always told me, you should go into real estate, but I've always thought about the traditional method, right? You have to be a broker agent. I'm like, I don't want to go through all that. That's just not who I am.
Right.
But I've always had intrigue about it.
Yeah.
Because it always had that set your own schedule, do your own thing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when you hear Pace discuss that and tell us that there's opportunities that are coming, and you can use his method of creative and not be those people, I'm like, dude, we're in. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I called to join Sub 2, because that's what all that was marketed back then was Sub 2. So I called for Sub 2. I made my appointment. I spoke to my sales rep. We're ready to go. But again, knowing me, Kevin, you'll know me more, is I'm the kind of guy that if we go to a buffet and I spend $30, like, I'm going to get $100 worth of food. That's just my mindset, right? It's just, I don't need it. I'm already chunky enough, but that's just my mindset. I want to get as much out of it, right? Yeah. It's my idiosyncrasy. It's my whatever you want to call it. Oh, so it's just my tick. So I'm looking at that, and then my W-2 and it's like, there's no way I can do both, right?
Right.
So I put that on the back burner, and then Gator had just opened up again by chance, just right there. For us, general population. So I'm like, okay, I want to be part of this community. Let's see if this thing really works. I mean, I looked at it more as not as a way to make a whole lot of money. I looked at it as more as, okay, this is my in to the community at a scale that I can manage with my regular, day to day.
Right.
So I go in, we do this, and the rest is history. All by chance. And what's funny about Gator back in those years, not say those years, but back then, that year when we got started, all of us, even the leaders within Gator, were trying to figure out what we had here. Like, we really didn't know what Gator was. Like, it was kind of like, okay, we know the concept of EMD, but we were learning on the fly. We learned about mutual release during our class, basically, like going into. I just remember going into these things, and we're Gatoring, right? We're having our meetings, and then people are coming up like, what's this mutual lease clause that's coming out? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, mutual lease. And we're all mad dashing trying to find out what states were. It just was a lot. It's just like we're trying to figure it out. But again, it was cool. And now you fast forward, we got this nice contract because of that. That Pace is pushing out there the wholesale contract with the addendum. So I mean, you're trying to learn on the fly. But yeah, that's kind of what I mean by chance. Is like, I really wasn't looking for him. Timing is I think everything. And good old Grant Cardone led me to Pace Morby. So.
Yeah.
I guess I thank him.
Yeah, absolutely. So you still have your W-2. How do you manage the Gator? And sounds like you do Gator mostly, more than Sub 2. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm still not Sub 2. So fast forward. So go back a year. Joining Sub 2 was my first. That was my first option, and then again with my W-2, and then I went to Gator. And then from that point, last year, fast forward 3 months, when Pace was here at his book signing, that's when I actually had a pretty good conversation with him, because I was part of the crew to help with like crowd control,
Yeah.
So we were kind of real close in close proximity. So I was talking to him a little bit, Again, being opportunistic. And then I'm like, hey, just told my backstory, the whole thing, the thing I told you guys. Hey, you know what? This is me. I want to be sub 2, but I just couldn't because of my job. I got divorced, Gator, yada, yada, yada. But I still want to do sub 2 pace.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, he's like, just stay in Gator. Just stay in Gator.
Yeah.
Don't join sub 2. You can
Right.
partner with my sub 2 students in JV. You don't got to worry about it. I'm like, are you sure? He
Yeah.
goes, yeah, bro, don't worry about it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. So what's funny is then 2 weeks after that, the sales rep calls me, right? He's
Yeah.
like, hey, so you ready to join sub 2? And I'm like, hey, your boss told me no. So it's
Yeah.
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 So that was kind of that. He's like, no, he didn't. I go, yeah, he did, bro. He told me at the book signing. He goes, I guess I can see what he was talking about. And that's just that. So he never called me again. So, and then and it is true what he's saying. Again, from that point until now, I've worked with so many great sub 2 students, building great relationships, whether they're sub 2 and Gator, just sub 2.
Right.
Or, I'm now in the acquisitions phase for myself personally.
Yeah.
That just having that connection that, yeah, they go out there and find, a property and we can assign it together, do it together, JV assign it, and we're all good to go. So it's totally true what he said. Yeah, totally true what he said. That you can, it's now all inclusive. Unlike before when we got started, Gator really was the redheaded stepchildren, the mentorship. Yeah. And now now it's been more like we're all one now. We're all cool. We're all cool. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It does seem like I joined a good bit after you, and it does seem like there has been a mesh between the Gator and the sub 2 big time since the time you joined up to the time I joined. So you can see it.
And
What
it's
you're
all because
talking
of him,
about.
because he even admitted it when he
Yeah.
got in, and it might have been around the time when you guys got there. He was kind of like not neglecting us, but it was it wasn't his primary focus, Gator.
Yeah.
And he came back into the fold, and now you can see he's taking full control of it. And now look at where we're at. We're at 2.0 with all the other options that are coming.
Right.
And he's even said in some Zooms, like, you know what, it was my bad, but now I got it. We're running it. So,
Yeah.
he understood what he had here and what was going on. And I think ever since he really came back into the fold full time,
Yeah.
now it's different. It's a different field, different group. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of the wild west at first, huh?
Oh yeah, it was, man. It was crazy. But it was good and bad. Like, so I tell a lot of younger Gators, and if they're listening, is like, our outreach was Facebook. That was our main outreach, out to the wholesalers and marketing to them. Title really wasn't, I from what I can remember, never really was, our big, like what Jake's doing now, which I think is doing an awesome job. It was never really our outreach, was Title.
Right.
It was basically straight direct to the wholesalers. Just like basically direct to seller and direct to agent. Like we're going straight to the wholesaler opposed to kind of, going around it.
Yeah.
It was cool as we were learning, what we had. And then with the amount of Gators that we had at that time that joined, which wasn't many, I think it was maybe like 800 or so.
Yeah.
There really wasn't much competition like now where there's 6,000 plus, out there trying to get EMDs.
Right.
Also, too, it was new to us, and it was all new to those that we were pitching to, like wholesalers. Like they were like, "Oh, what is this new?" So it was easy to kind of like, "Okay, this is what we're doing, bro. We can be partners, JV, yada yada yada. Let's do this together. Use my money, don't use your money. Use your money for what you want. Like just you sell yourself at that point."
Sure.
But they were more open to be like, "Okay, yeah, let's take a look. Let's work together and try to build a relationship." So a little bit easier, and then fast forward now, it's just a lot harder, just because it's a sheer numbers game. It's a lot of people are calling that same individual, and it all goes down to where they're at in their position. Also, but I think the wholesale market is changing a little bit, and what can and can't be done in the wholesale market. I also feel like there's a lot of like us, we jumped into this because we're like, okay, 08's coming again, we got to be ready. I think a lot of, and you know how it is. Most people, when they get into real estate, the first thing they do is jump into wholesaling. That's the easiest that's their first jump to real estate is wholesale.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these newbie wholesalers are jumping in, and the same concerns that we have as Gators, where, you get so many people in, and then sometimes, I'm not saying they have their own agenda, but I always give this kind of like this analogy. It's like we're all playing poker, right?
Yeah.
And we got 5 people on the table.
Yeah.
And we're not playing each other.
Right.
We're playing the house,
Yeah.
So sometimes I got to take an L so you can get a win, right? Like my cards, you got to play the deck and be like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna ask because there's, don't be selfish because we want the group to win.
Right.
Well, we got some Gators that are playing. They're not playing against the house. They're playing against one another.
Right.
And they go in there and say, okay, well, this fee that should be 3,000 is only 1,200 or whatever the rate is, right? And
Right.
that's an issue. We're having that issue where, we kind of devalue what we're all about. And I think the same thing is happening in the wholesale game. You got these younger wholesalers that are just like, hey, I'll take an assignment for whatever, 3,000,
Hmm.
whatever it is, and it's bringing down that that value. So when
Yes.
we go to them and you finally get someone to say, yeah, I'll take your services. Okay, well, it's 3 for 3, and they're like, okay, well, I'm only making 3. Well, then that's where
Right.
that disconnect is, right? Opposed to someone who's seasoned, who's making or pulling 15, 20, whatever their assignment is. There's a little bit more
Right.
meat on the bone. So it's just all that, that's kind of going on. Not to say it can't be done. It definitely can be done. But
Yeah.
me personally, I'm trying to leave a job to not do a job. and
Yeah.
and to do that, it's a real job. It's a real job. Yeah, definitely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So how do you? Well, to back to your point about the same thing happens in with real estate agents too, with the commissions. So you're going to have the flat fees, and that it's kind of like you get what you pay for kind of
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, just to add to that. But so how do you manage? How do you manage your time if you have a W-2 and you're doing all this networking and outreach and deals, and how do you do that?
I don't know. That's a good question. When I first got started, I was going to do it all. I was going to fix and flip. I was going to, buy and hold. I was going to Airbnb and arbitrage. I was going to do everything, right?
Yeah,
Then I realized, bro, like you're killing yourself. I would
yeah,
sit there and, go to bed at 10:30, 11 at night, wake up at 4 o'clock, and then use that time before I get to work at 7 and kind of do my networking, and then work from 7 to 3, and then after 3 till 11, I'm doing networking, and I'm
yeah,
taking away from family time. So it's taken me a year to kind of convince myself and also convince my loved ones
yeah.
kind of what's what I'm doing. The great thing though is my wife now is actually getting more involved with all this. She wants to be a TC, so we've got her in contact with
Nice.
some really great TCs that are kind of taking her under her wing and guided her. So that's kind of cool. So
Yeah,
we kind of do this journey together. My kids are my kids. They're just they're doing their thing. So they're older,
yeah.
so it's no big thing. But yeah,
Right.
to answer your question, I mean it's tough. I again like here I'm trying to those 2 weeks that I was out in Puerto Rico and got the bug kind of threw me back on both fronts on work and on catering.
Right.
But normally what I do now is um, I work my 9 to 5. I do my outreach or networking on Facebook in the morning before I go to work.
Yeah.
I'll work my work, and depending on the day is, the end of the month is always the craziest in sales because it's just trying to get those last numbers. You know how it is, just trying to crunch
Yeah.
those last sales. So this, Friday's been pretty okay. I'll check into Facebook every so often throughout the day, maybe twice. That's it. People think like, oh, you're always on. I go, bro, I'm not. I just go
Yeah.
in there, do my little thing, and I'm out. Right. Just kind of see how things are going, and then do my transactions if need be. During that time, if something were to happen.
Yeah.
And then when I really do focus after work, I do focus about 3 hours of just straight Gator outreach and networking.
Okay.
So I'll do, I have it in my calendar that if you want to reach me, book up, and then we'll sit there and we'll talk and we'll have a discussion and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. If it's just, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? I'm cool with game, whatever, So that's kind of how I've done
Good.
it. Then after that, phones put aside and it's family time. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I'm doing it. So it took me a while. It took me cracking a lot of eggs and upsetting a lot of people
Yeah.
to finally get the omelet done. But
Yeah.
we're there. But it's still tough at times. Especially when I got something going on. It's pressing. I want to get to it. But then also at work, I got something going on. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can relate to what you're saying there, big time, because you know, starting out as an agent, it was like it felt like I was working 24 hours a day and all that kind of stuff. And then over time, out of desperation, I did have to decide because I was neglecting my family, and you know, um, at the end of they're more important than real estate. So
1,000%. Yeah.
so I did, and I still struggle with it, of course. But
Same here. That's why when my wife wants to join, I'm like, okay, cool. We can kind of do this together. We
yeah,
can burn the candle on both ends together, like basically.
yes, yes, that's right. Um, but yeah, like sometimes, a lot of times, I'll pick a time, and I have quit for the day. I'll quit real estate, and it's nothing but family, and yeah, that's it. So it's got to be like you're saying, a choice. So
Yeah. No, it has to, and I have to, and I had to do that also with my primary, employment too, because I travel a
sure,
lot or whatever. And when I was young, it was cool. Like, oh yeah, tomorrow we're going to Chicago. Okay, cool. And then after that, Atlanta. Like, yeah, let's go. Whatever. Now,
yeah,
dude, like to get me out of here, I'm like, it has to be a reason. I'm like, send some of the younger guys
yeah,
out there. I'm good. But you learn as you mature, I guess, or you. But also, what we're doing, Kev, is like, and I tell people, I get it, I understand it, but also look at it from our perspective. Is as men, we're taught to like get up in the morning, put your boots on, put your pants, and go to work. There's no
yeah.
excuses, no nothing. So
That's
we
right.
do it from a great place.
Yeah,
So I'm not trying to excuse the long hours, but our whole mindset is, I'm not making this check to spend it on me. I'm
right.
making this check because I got so many other people that are needy
Yeah,
of that check, right?
yeah,
So that's why we do that. But then as you get older, you realize, like you said, yeah, I get why we were doing that and the struggle and why we did it. But in
right,
reality, we thought we were doing good, but in reality, we're doing harm because I
right.
think a lot of times that they just want that connection,
Yeah,
then just the bills are paid. So
right.
it's just something that I had to get used to because I come from a strong Hispanic family where it's blue collar and going out there and just busting your butt, busting your tail, and going out there and working and just doing it. A lot of the males in our culture and my family just don't show emotion, and it's just like, hey,
Yeah,
this is who I am or whatever it is. I'm
yeah,
the opposite. I was raised by all women, my grandmother, my mom, and my aunts, and
yeah,
I'm very emotional, man. I can cry in 2 seconds. Like it's just
yeah.
actually a bad thing. People make fun of me in the family, but yeah, it's just I'm sensitive. So yeah, it's so I have a little different makeup, but
Right.
just to go back to just culturally and the the male figures in my family, yeah, it's just we're programmed that way. Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, no emotion. Here's your check. Daddy, I want a hug. No, the lights are on. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I realized afterwards that it's just not the way it needs to be. So that's why with this and with the energy I still have and whatever life I still have and breath I have left, I want to change that with the next generation, whether it's my grandkids or whatever. I want to spend all the time with them. And I think, I know actually, with the year that I have in and meeting people like yourself and others and the opportunities that are out there, that we can get there easily and we can control our own destiny in life and not have to worry about anything, and we'll
Yeah.
be okay, going forward. So again, I just think it's just perfect timing. Like I said, just by chance, really.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Um, so if you, a lot of talk about family, but if you could go back to how long have you been married?
Ooh, 20. Hold on, let me do the math.
Let's say
Oh,
ballpark. I don't
hopefully
want
my
to
wife
put
is
you on.
not watching. So we're 2023. I know it's up there. 26 years. Been together for 30.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's great.
See, I know the year 1990. I just didn't know the math. I just looked at the math there. So.
um, so if you could go back 26 years ago
Mhm.
and talk to yourself with the knowledge that you have now, what would you say to your younger version?
Wow, that's a great question, and it's honestly it's sad that I would say this. Uh, Actually, one of the things that has been resonating since coming back from the island is this quote from Nelson Mandela, and I've been preaching it and living it. Um, and basically, it's actually really simple, and it's I don't lose.
Ah,
I either win or I learn. You know,
yeah, yeah,
And if I'd have lived that back then, oh my God, I would have been so much more. But you know what? Also, with that said, I lived a lot, did a lot of, made mistakes, and you learn. Again, you learn as you make those mistakes. And I think, fast forward to where I'm at today, I think I'm a genuine cool person. So I guess
yeah,
all those things that would have happened, I wouldn't want to tweak them because maybe it messed the metaverse kind of thing. I wouldn't be who I am. But
right.
honestly, in all reality, I would tell myself, and actually what I'm telling my kids now is, I was I went to school, I was all about school, education, higher education,
Yeah,
again, what we're told to do.
yeah,
Now, basically what I'm telling my kids is, bro, you're 24, you're 25, you're 24, and you're 21. Go
yeah,
out there and just live your life and go
yeah,
screw things up, go
yeah,
learn, make
yeah,
mistakes, Go try things.
That's right.
You know, you have no attachments, you have no nothing. Go out there and live the life that you have your way. Not the way
That's
daddy
right.
wants it, not the way grandma wants it, not the way
Hmm.
mommy wants it. Do it what Desi, what Junior, and what Mia want to do.
Yeah.
And that honestly would be what I tell myself is like, stop following the status quo
Yes.
of what society or my people are telling me to do, and
Right.
go out there and live my life. And I'm doing that now at
Yes.
45.
Yep.
um, and that I guess that would be the biggest thing is kind of break away from. And I've always been that kind of person. I've always asked why, but I always got pushed back in line after I asked that why. Like, just because I told you to, right? Okay, well then you keep going.
Yeah.
But be more so on that side of like really looking at the possibilities, and just going out there and just trying things and
Yeah.
failing. But again, when I live with that creed that Nelson Mandela is, I'm not really failing, I'm learning.
That's
So I
right.
tell my kids, go out there and learn, man. Fall on your
Yeah.
face, learn that hurts. And there's two ways it's going to happen. One, you're not going to like the feeling, you don't want to better yourself, so you don't do that again. Or
Right.
two, you're going to be like, okay, those are my limits, which I hope that's not the case, and I'm not going to push myself anymore. So that's what I'm doing with my kids. So I guess, to answer your question, the way I'm answering or talking to my kids is the way I tell myself is go out there and I call it muck things up, man. Go out there and mess and have things up and see what happens, man. See what happens. Live your life, really honestly live your life.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. That's great advice. Um, so, how, like, when you got into the gator, I guess primarily, uh, how has your life changed um, since that time? And I know of you know your goal of divorce, um, but since you joined, how would you say that your life has kind of changed?
Um, on a personal side, I've
Hmm.
I realized, with doing a deal and delays and the risk and all that. I thought I was a tough skinned person to begin with.
Hmm. Yeah.
But this, and especially Pace's community, because I tell people all the time, I'm a structured person, dude. I'm a totally structured person. I can show you my desk and like it's
Yeah.
structured, right?
Yeah.
That's how I need to survive because I'm trying to do the whole Elon Musk time, was it called, blocking or boxing? I'm trying to do that, and trying to whatever,
Right.
just to be, to not go crazy. But I realized that, again, especially with this group, you got to learn how to pivot. You got to learn how to be comfortable with uncomfortable. And
Yep.
I've actually learned that I have more. I don't have the limits that I thought I had, or things, or the limitations I put on myself.
Yes.
Actually, I have. There's a lot more of me that I thought I was tapped out. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
yeah. I always pride myself in trying to learn new things. I never, ever, ever, from this or anything else, felt that I was bigger and better than anybody else, whether it's tenure,
Right.
experience, or whatever. Everybody talks about value. I call it a superpower. I have my superpower. You have your superpower, and I think we collectively can be, whatever. We can be Justice League, or we can be the Avenger, whatever you want to call it, right? But we
Yeah.
all bring our power, and we all, for the same cause, we go out there and we destroy and we mess things up. So I think I really was able to really see my capacity that many
Yes.
people have told me that I had. But again, with those limitations early on, I'm like, you know what? This is where I need to be, and I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Well, I learned that I'm comfortable with uncomfortable, you know, and
Cool.
it was hard to fathom that. But
Yes.
now it's like it's it's to be expected, and when it happens, I'm not rolling off my rocker like I used to. Like, oh my God, it's
Right.
not going the way it's in my head that it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And I just learned more about myself, internally, like that. The limitations that I put on myself when I thought, that's all I can give. I realized that no, that there really isn't. It's all myself. So I guess that's the biggest thing, is just really understanding my capacity and what I can do. And
Yeah.
then also too is my calling. And I'm the kind of person, Kev, like, it's like I tell people all the time, I get more gratification than if I were to receive a gift. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in this community, by me helping and aiding gators or whoever, I get that same joy.
Yes.
I think this is the calling that I always ever had. Never knew that that was my calling because I was stuck in the muck of things. Where
Right.
I'm able to kind of do
Yeah.
what my true calling is to help and aid as much as I can. And I want to see people succeed, man. Honestly, from my people, my family, of course, to friends and family, people that I've come across. Yeah, I want to see people succeed.
So I'm writing this down because um, it's interesting what you just said. Uh, did I understand you correctly where you fundamentally got uncomfortable to find your calling?
Yeah, I guess you
Is
can
that
say that. Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. I
Mhm.
never thought about that. Uh,
Yeah.
but it makes perfect sense too. And
I think we
you were
all are. It's we know what our superpower and our passion is,
yeah,
but we're uncomfortable getting there because
yeah,
we get caught up with, again, I have a decent life, a decent job, it pays the bills.
right.
And I'll tell you this one thing too. Like I tell my son, he's a very laid back kind of person, the total
Yeah,
opposite of me.
yeah,
That I even tell him, I go, son, I am jealous of you.
yeah,
He's like, what do you mean? I go, yeah. I mean, sometimes a little too much, but I go,
yeah,
like just careless and just carefree, right? Just like, yeah, it is what it is. Me, dude, I can tell you, if something doesn't go that, I'm like, what the hell? It just changes my whole entire day. Um, that I tell him, I'm jealous of you, bro. Like, I wish I had a
yeah,
little bit of that, And
yeah,
again, and that's just, and I'm growing into that now. Where now I'm not saying I'm carefree, but I realize that, dude, it's not that serious. Like, it really isn't. Like my
right.
calling is bigger and better than something not going your way, and you look at things a lot differently now. This is what was supposed to happen, so just chillax.
Yeah,
There's a bigger purpose. Yeah, there's a bigger purpose than what you thought the purpose was,
right.
and I'm realizing that now more so.
Yeah,
Again, as I start lifting these barriers off of myself, the ones that I've self-imposed.
right.
And again, it's all because of pace and it just what he said, and it just resonates really, really well.
Yeah,
To go out there and just take action, do your thing, don't worry about that. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded and also people that are doing bigger and better things than you are,
right.
because then it pushes you naturally to want to do bigger and better things, and it takes you out of your
Yeah,
comfort zone. And that's what I've been doing in the year. And I'm just trying to pay it forward to others as well too. See, how I can help them in their mindset or just in their journey.
yeah, yeah. You have a lot of wisdom. This is almost I need to go through and like segment off all your nuggets of wisdom and do them separately. But that's awesome. You're absolutely right. Um, that's great advice for all of us
Mhm.
on a personal level and business too.
No, true. And again, it's taken me 45 years to figure it out. Trust me. And it's taken me this community and meeting people like yourself and others that have shown me that there's a whole lot more than what we think. And again,
Yeah,
we put limitations on ourselves because, and kind of like I said, what Payson said, it's just the system has done that. And I understand the system. I get it, because not all of us can be free spirit and open minded and think as an entrepreneur, right? If
right.
we all did, then services, there's people that need to do the service sector, need to do just, everybody has their superpower.
Hmm.
But again, I just felt like I would have found that superpower. We all say it. I wish I'd have found pace, 20 years ago, or this whole
Yeah,
time 20 years ago. But I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, the timing for me right now is perfect. I guess I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for my calling to really
yeah,
unveil itself. Even though I knew it was there.
yeah,
And now that I'm in this, and going into this chapter of trying to get away from what was my normal, the W-2, and going into something that's not normal, I'm like
yeah,
super pumped and excited about it, because I'm going to be able to do you know what that gift that was, or whatever that calling was for me to do, and that's just to go out there and help as many people as possible, and given the time to do so, because that's
yeah,
that's my biggest. You ask, what's my biggest issue right now is time.
yeah,
Is time. Is just
yeah.
trying to find the time to do the things and do it to those and for those that I want to do it for. And
Sure.
right now, I'm spending most of my time doing it for other people so they can make money. And I make a little money by doing it, right? I'm a W-2, but I want to do it for my people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you kind of hit on like I've got a saying that a plant manager told me years ago that kind of stuck with me, and you're basically saying it right now. And he told me it's kind of a story, but just to summarize, he said, "Kevin, go do good things."
Yeah.
And that was it.
It's true. Honestly, as simple as it is, it's very true, you know? And because it's funny, because I think you might have asked me this, Kevin, when we had our first convo, you know, it's like, hey, Zo, I appreciate you. Is there anything I can bring of value, right?
Yeah.
And I always get stumped by that question, to honestly, because I'm not outreaching for an ask or a want. I want us to work together and get to the same place together, right? You know?
Yeah.
And now I come to the point exactly what you said. I just want good energy around me and my loved ones and the people that I'm working with. So if you do good, good's going to come of it. So I just want that good energy. So just having the friendship, having the conversation, doing a deal together, you know, whichever way it's, oops, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get one of those notifications away. Let's see if I pop up.
Oh, okay.
I should pop up.
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, sure enough. I should have left that notification alone.
Oh, it's all good.
All right, here we go.
There you go.
Is I just want that good energy, you know, and if it's energy that I get, awesome. If it's energy that, you know, is surrounding my kids, you know, when they need it, awesome. If it's energy around my wife, awesome. Or energy around you, my friend, or your family, awesome. I just want good. I want to be surrounded by good energy. That's all it is. And I think by doing good, you're gonna have better chances of that good energy. You know, whatever you want to call it. I call it, you know, good juju, karma, whatever you want to call it. Sure. I just want that good stuff around. That's all I ask for. Is just that good energy. Yeah, seriously.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I think we're at the final mark here. Is there anything you'd like to say to take us out, or what do you think? Oh, did I lose video? Oh, there we go.
No, I mean, I mean, basically, you just go out there, and I tell people all the time, you know, I guess we'll end in this, is, you know, go out there and take action, like Pace says. In my words, I always tell people, go out there and just shake the tree vigorously. Go out there and see what comes out of it. You know, some snakes might come out of it. Just beware of those. But you know, we have the community here to help you. You know, but if you don't shake that tree, the fruits, you know, of your hard work aren't going to fall out as well too. So go out there and just shake it up, and you know, just enjoy the fruits of your, you know, your labor. You know, all that good stuff. So
awesome. Well, Zo, thank you very much. I definitely appreciate your time and all the nuggets of wisdom that you shared with us and shared about your story. And again, I appreciate everything that you do for me, the community, and you're an inspiration to us. And I look forward to, you know, working with you in the future and, you know, helping each other out. And it's just great.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you. I'm humbled, you know.
And that wraps up another incredible episode of It's Possible. We hope you enjoyed this inspiring conversation and gained valuable insights from our guest's journey. If you've been inspired by today's episode and want to stay connected, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media. We have more amazing stories and interviews coming your way, so don't miss out. And that wraps up another incredible episode of It's Possible. We hope you enjoyed this inspiring conversation and gained valuable insights from our guest's journey. If you've been inspired by today's episode and want to stay connected, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media. We have more amazing stories and interviews coming your way, so don't miss out.